Hey everybody, this is George Brasher with Shakedown of Thunder Sports, and you're about to watch the two Irish brothers. Go Irish.
How's it going, everyone? I am ND Sean 45.
And I am Irish Benjamin. Welcome to the two Irish brothers.
Now, first off, folks, I know it has been a little while since we did our last video, but Ben, this is your moment. Why don't you tell everybody why it has been such a while since our last video?
Well, that's because a certain someone decided to come a little early this time. So my firstborn is officially here in the world, and I had to skip last week and not do a video because of that. But everything worked out for the best, and mom and kid are home safe and healthy as can be. So can't complain too much about that.
So you are officially a father, and everybody who's watching this, whenever you're watching this, let's give Ben for real a round of applause right now. Congratulations, Ben. I'm sure myself, and I'm sure everybody who's watching this video right now is so super happy for you. And what more can I say? Congratulations to you. And I'm not going to give out your wife's name, but congratulations to you and your wife on your newborn daughter. It's awesome, man. So real quick, how's fatherhood been so far, and motherhood for you guys?
Pretty amazing, pretty amazing, pretty surreal. I ran my first errand, by myself and all that with the kid here. And on my way home, I'm sitting at a traffic light. I'm like, oh my gosh, at home waiting for me is my kid. Like, just very, very surreal, very, crazy to think about, and you don't really understand until it happens. But yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts.
So it was one of those moments where it sunk in. Hey, I'm somebody's father.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That is so awesome. Just wait till one day when you're when she's wanting to ask you for money to buy a prom dress and all that stuff.
We're not even gonna go there.
All right, dude. Well, look,
it's not a lot of date. We're just gonna go there for now.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, let's it's been a while, so hey, let's dive right into this new episode. Now, I know we're kind of behind here, but hey, like we were just talking about, you've had some pretty big things on your plate, myself too, actually. But it's now official, and I've been looking it up, and I know you have too. I'm not sure if this is a nationwide thing or if it's just a state to state kind of thing, but college athletes, student athletes can now make money off of their name while they're in college playing sports. Now, I'm going to let you start on this because Ben, I know you had some very passionate statements about this. So you fire the first shot.
I mean, plain and simple, I don't think they should get paid. That's been my standpoint from the get-go. I've never changed my mind on that. I have a multitude of reasons why. The two biggest is just the fact that, somebody's paying for your education. So, instead of you going into, 100K in debt, you're getting somebody to pay for that for you, whether it's, a full scholarship or a partial scholarship, you're getting somebody to pay for that. And we've seen with these top schools with athletes on the second point, they are provided a tutor, they are provided a athletic trainer, they are provided a nutritionist. These are all things that you have to pay, a decent amount of money, even if you're an average Joe like us, to have, and they're getting all of that basically for free to be playing a sport. That's the way I look at
it. And that makes sense too. And I know that I forget who it was, but somebody told me this quite a while ago, long ago, before this even became a reality. Someone was saying that, oh, well, you get some of these athletes that take away a scholarship from an average student who truly deserves to be there. Well, I'm not going to say that the athlete doesn't truly deserve to be there, because a lot of these college athletes, they do have the brains to go with their brawn.
Yeah.
We've seen that. But at the same time, when you in the case where maybe the athlete isn't exactly as gifted academic wise, as the non-athlete might be. I can see it from that perspective. I understand that. And overall with this whole situation, I'm not one, and this goes for any topic. I'm not one who likes to take the middle of the road, but I am trying to see, both sides of the spectrum here. Because I just like to be fair. That's really all there is to it with me on any subject. Take your pick. So I'm thinking about this, whether or not these athletes deserve to make money off their name or not. And let's look at one side of it. Let's look at the reason why they possibly should, why they should possibly deserve this. And of course, let's face it, the two biggest sports in college, football number one, basketball number two. I mean, bowl season, March Madness, those are the two big money makers. We all know that.
Yeah.
Nothing against the other sports, but do I really need to explain
across
that?
the board? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now let's just take football because this is primarily where the focus is.
Yeah.
When you're a football player at a major university, that schedule is brutal. I think it's 3 practices a day. You have three practices a day, and then on top of that you have all your classes, which it's usually 4 classes a semester that you're taking. I think at least that's how it was when I was in school.
Roughly, depending on amount of credit hours. Yeah.
Okay, so you got 3 practices a day, plus all your courses, plus all your workouts that you have to get in, plus the study room for your particular position. Because I know at Notre Dame they have a group, a separate group for everything: quarterbacks, running backs, O-line, defensive backs, tight ends, and so on. So you have all that. You then have your studying at night, and a lot of these guys are only getting maybe 4, maybe 5 hours of sleep a night. So obviously there's no time to have a part-time job to earn some income while you're going to school. I mean, that sport is their job while they're there. So I can understand that aspect of it. I can understand that because it's not an easy schedule. I mean, you're putting in a lot of work. The other side of the coin, though, kind of goes to what you just said. These guys are getting a free education. They're able to go to school for free and play their respected sport while they're at it. So, as I said, you're potentially taking away a scholarship from somebody else. And also, as we've always been taught growing up, you shouldn't have to get paid, or you shouldn't be paid for learning a craft, for learning a skill. I mean, as far as college goes, compared to high school and college, same thing. You are learning for life. You shouldn't have to be paid for that. I mean, you pay your dues and then you make your money. And I could go on forever about that, but that's the gist of it. But and in addition to this, and I'm kind of digressing here for a second, but I remember one thing I really hate is when you have these athletes years later, after they've been through the pros and all that, and they look back on everything and they say, man, I was used when I was in college. They didn't give a crap about me, this, that. I wish I never done it, blah, 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 blah. The best example I can give is, I think it was Arian Foster who did an interview with somebody. I forget who it was. Maybe it was Joe Rogan. I could be wrong. But I do know he did an interview a few years ago, and he was talking about his time at, I think it was Miami that he went to, correct?
University of Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay. At least I'm pretty sure it was Arian Foster anyway.
It's probably Arian Foster. He was a pretty angry dude.
Okay. Well, all I know is in this interview, he said that if he knew then what he knows now, he never would have played football. He would have just done something else. And I'm thinking, like, okay, and not just him, but any athlete, any former athlete who says this, athletics opened up so many doors for you.
Right.
I mean, you had a chance to get on the big stage in college football, show your skills, and hopefully make it into the NFL. And when you go on and say that, oh, that university just used me to get to a major bowl game or win a national championship or whatever, I was just a workhorse for them, nothing else. Well, guess what? You had an opportunity to use them as well, to use them to, take advantage of the academics and make yourself a smarter person, educate yourself, to have a life after athletics.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, though. In this same interview, he said something that I think does kind of make sense, which could possibly work. Maybe. I don't know. Everybody give your opinion on this. But he said that if they don't want to pay the athletes for playing their sport, then make football a major. Make it a major where not only do you play the game, but you could also in the process learn how to be a coach, learn how to be a general manager of a team, learn how to be an owner, how the operation works at the pros and so on, or even be an athletic director or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's not a bad point at all.
Yeah.
But the ungratefulness when you were given so many opportunities, and on top of that, any athlete going into collegiate athletics, you already knew that going in that that's how schools make their money is off of major athletics. You know that. You obviously were a fan watching the game growing up, so you knew that the schools were making money off of it. You already knew how things worked, so why are you so shocked when you actually get there and see that for yourself? That part doesn't make sense to me. So that's, again, maybe talking about this interview was kind of off subject a little bit, but
I mean, it's on the same, getting paid, Yeah. I mean, I saw a guy that played at the University of Southern Cal, and he brought up the point, well, I have an apartment in the city of Los Angeles because I go to SC and it's this amount a month. And I need the money to pay for that, And to me, okay, like I see where you're coming from. I get it. But, okay, it was your choice to take an apartment and not a dorm that would have been paid for on your scholarship.
And that's a big
so I don't know. It's a really slippery slope, and all that. Now, I do know, after this ruling that we had, it is, what is that? It said 20 states have passed legislation with 7, starting basically in July 1st. So that was 15 days ago. So this is sounding like it's going to be a state-to-state basis, I think this will directly affect recruiting.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of people said that from the get-go. I mean, people were like, oh, my gosh, because you imagine Alabama, it's just going to get even worse for that, with them and all that. And pardon me, they're not wrong. But at the same time, not everybody can go to one school, and not everybody gets that opportunity. So I don't know. We'll see. I still take the stance that I don't think it should happen. That's just me. I did have family play collegiate sports, and when I mean collegiate sports, I mean a Power 5 school on a team that went to a BCS bowl game and won said bowl game. So I mean, I've had family go the distance, and I've had family play and then on to the NFL. So I mean, I've seen what they've gone through and what they did and what they had to deal with, and most of these guys, if not almost all of them, are treated like kings and queens when they are athletes.
It's true.
They and I saw that firsthand at the small school that I went to when it came to athletes. I mean, so if they're being treated that way at a small school, I can only imagine what they're being treated like at an Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oklahoma, all that. When it's just you're in a football hotbed with a ravenous fan base, that just eats, sleeps, and breathes that sport.
Oh, absolutely. You're not kidding about that.
I mean, there are jokes that are adult jokes that I could say, but I mean, the adult jokes are not wrong. when it comes to college football athletes and stuff. So,
Well, and you think that, college with, I mean, it's tough enough for a regular student who doesn't play athletics, but when you have, I get it. The schedule's tough for the athlete, of course.
That's why you're getting it paid for too. I mean, the regular college student works a job, goes to school, and has to balance both.
Well, and that's the thing. When you're talking about that athlete from USC, that's a part of college too that should be a big factor, is making sacrifices.
Right.
You can't always have what you want.
Right. And I mean, if you're going to, standard of living is different everywhere. The standard of living in Los Angeles versus the standard of living in no-name podunk town, Oklahoma, is vastly different. So I mean, if you're going to the University of OK State in wherever that's barely on the map that you can't find unless you go down a certain road, compared to Los Angeles, well, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a difference.
Of course.
So
of course.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, our biggest focus is Notre Dame and what they're going about, what they're dealing with. So, I mean, Alabama, Michigan, whoever can deal with all the crap they want to deal with. But at the end of the day, I don't really care.
Yeah, definitely a lot of pros and cons to this. So we'll just see what happens as it goes. I mean, I know for a fact our offensive line, they've already made connections with a barbecue chain. So we'll see how this all goes.
Yeah.
So with that said, Ben, let's take a moment to hear this message from our sponsors.
Once upon a time, there was a guy named Goldilocks who was thirsting for refreshment. But this one, and this one. So then he moved to Diet Coke, and it was just right. The real cola taste you can drink more of because it's just 1 calorie.
Hey, somebody's been drinking our Diet Coke.
Yeah. And there he is.
Hey, it's the Three Bears. What's up?
Yeah.
That's for the taste of it. Diet Coke.
I love those old commercials, man. I knew you were drinking a Diet Coke too again.
You need to get sponsored. Come on, Coke.
Yeah, please. Come on, Coke. We're here. But it's up to you people watching. If you like this, subscribe us, pass us around, get us a sponsor, damn it. But, there's a particular reason that I played that commercial too, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I got to tell you, dude, being a Bears fan, obviously, as we know, yesterday was the deadline to at 4 o'clock, I think 4 o'clock Eastern time, I think it was. That was the deadline to sign guys on the franchise tag to long-term contracts. And the freaking Bears did not do it with Allen Robinson, our stud wide receiver for the last 3 years. And it just, this is the stuff with Ryan Pace that pisses me off. I mean, okay, I'm fine with, Robinson. He's still going to be with us this upcoming season, but he's playing at the almost $18 million salary cap.
Yeah.
Why not? This guy's been the most productive on this Bears team for the last 3 years. He's had guys like Mitchell Trubisky, what's his name? Chase Daniel, freaking who was the third one that I'm forgetting? Damn it. Nick Foles. Nick Foles. Those are the guys that he's had passing to him, and he's going to have Andy Dalton passing to him this year. Hopefully, Justin Fields, if he gets in there in time. Not that I want Dalton to fail or anything, but just pay the man. He's been your most productive player the last 3 years, doing all that he has with average or under average quarterbacks passing to him. But at the same time, he'll pay guys like Robert Quinn, who had a far from stellar season last year. Tariq Cohen, you give him some pretty big money, and of course nobody knows when guys are going to get hurt or anything. Nobody can see that coming. But this is where Ryan Pace really failed. This is a number one receiver we have. Pay the man. And with the salary cap raising next year, it's going to get a lot harder if you want to keep him in Chicago, especially when he's on the free agent market.
Yeah.
So I just had to vent there.
Well, and you make a good point. I mean, I'm on the outside looking in because I'm not a Bears fan, but I do live in Bears territory. And for whatever reason, and it's not even just the Bears, it's Chicago sports in general. Okay, it is Chicago sports in general where they are letting good players walk, and I don't get it. The Cubs did it, and I don't like the Cubs, but they did it. The Bears have done it multiple times in the last decade. Forte is another big one where I'm like, re-sign the guy. What are you like? I don't even like you, and if you want a chance to be very successful, why are you not bringing this guy back? The Bulls have done it. I don't understand if there's like talks in secret back rooms or whatever that's going on up in Chicago, but every year or every other year it seems to happen across the board, not even just with the Bears, where guys are just not getting re-signed.
Well, the thing is, exactly, you beat me to the punch. Obviously the McCaskies have shown that they're not afraid to spend the money to bring in free agents. But like you just said, you hit the nail right on the head. They don't want to keep them after the guys have earned it,
right,
and proven themselves on the field. Pay the money.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bears are like the 13th richest sports franchise in the world. You
Right.
have the money to pay these guys.
Right.
But you're right. They'll let guys walk for whatever reason. I remember back in the day, and I wish I could find the radio clip of it, but on Chicago sports radio back in, I think it was the late 80s, when the Bears let Wilbur Marshall walk, the host of the show, he let Mike McCaskey have it. Like, why did you let this guy walk? Why'd you let him walk away and sign with the Redskins?
Right.
How crazy are you? I mean, so kudos to whoever the radio broadcaster was who called out one of the owners of the team. But I just don't get this. This is why there's been so many problems with that franchise, because they always let guys walk after they've proven themselves. So yeah, I wasn't trying to take it away. I mean, if you got something to say about the Dolphins, man, go ahead and say.
Well, I mean, if we're going on little rants, Dolphins brought back Isaiah Ford, and the Dolphin fans that follow us will understand why I'm very puzzled, because, okay, the Dolphins have cut this guy 3 times. They traded him once, and now they're bringing him back. I'm very confused. I don't get it. So
it sounds like a love-hate relationship, and if it doesn't work, then it's like the girlfriend that you break up with 3 or 4 times.
Right. I don't get it. So yeah, no, I don't get it. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, on to more positive things. Enough with the angry rants here. Notre Dame just recently, Marcus Freeman, man, he has been tearing it up on the recruiting trail. We just recently got two new major. Maybe it's not major to some of you, but it is to Ben
it's
and
major. It's major.
Yeah,
If it's not major to people, then they are not paying attention, because this is major.
Yeah. 2 major pickups on the recruiting trail. First off, we got linebacker Jalen Sneed, and then 4-star cornerback Benjamin Morrison. Now let's start with Morrison real quick, or not
Jalen.
Yeah, let's start with Jalen, because I know you said that he was stolen from Clemson territory.
Clemson's backyard, man. And like I said, I mean, he didn't have them as one of his teams, so you don't know, positional. I mean, we don't follow Clemson religiously here. We don't know all their team needs and all that. So, maybe it was a situation where they just didn't have a spot for him. They were really deep at that position. I don't know. I'm not a Clemson fanatic. But to take a guy from Clemson territory, SEC country, where these other big name Southern schools are going after him, is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So I'm excited. This guy, his numbers speak for themselves. I mean, you look at his numbers and you're like, whoa. This guy could be, a stud from day one. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say a top 100 recruit. I think he has 5-star status. I think he's technically a 4-star.
Technically, he is a 4-star, yeah.
But he was on that verge of being a 5-star.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find his size. Oh, here it is. 6'5", 215 pounds. Styles has Oops, sorry, that's a wrong story. Darn it. Okay, let me try this. I'm trying to find his
But I mean, you look at his just normal numbers, like the regular numbers. Okay. Nationally as a player, he's 59th in the country.
yeah.
Positional wise, he's 5th, and then state wise, he's the second best outside linebacker. He's the 5th best outside linebacker in the country. And Notre Dame's landing him. I mean, this is a guy with huge potential, with huge upside, and the biggest thing that Notre Dame has to do, that we've seen in the last couple of years is we have to keep this guy. We cannot let what's been happening recently happen again. That they need to learn from mistakes and from history. Give this guy every chance to succeed and make him a stud that he could be.
And if all I know is if Marcus Freeman is able to continue his line of work that he did at Cincinnati with us, then look out. The sky's the limit for this kid. And I found his official numbers. Yeah, 6'2", 215 pounds. Yeah, an IB grade of 4.0, but the upside grade obviously is a 5.0 and a top 100 caliber prospect. And I'm just looking at the offers that he had. I mean, you got Alabama on this list, Oklahoma, Florida, Texas. I mean, there's some big name schools here.
Yep.
And this kind of kid is coming to us.
Yeah.
So anybody's got the size, and there's some highlights playing of him here on the screen on the website that I'm looking at. Holy crap, is this kid fast? I mean, he's just damn.
Yeah.
I wish I could put this on the screen. It's incredible seeing this kid play. He's
He's
just so quick. He puts a lot of heavy hits on guys. I cannot wait to see him suit up for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And then, going, one step back when it comes to the defense, with Benjamin Morrison, a cornerback, they got him on the other side of the country, and this is what's incredible with Notre Dame recruiting. Notre Dame recruits all over the country, not just geographically, but across the country. We got a guy in Snead from South Carolina, and then you go across the country to the Grand Canyon State in Arizona with Benjamin Morrison, who's a 4-star recruit who, is another top 100, basically a top 100 prospect, in 2 categories out of the 3. I mean, you can't beat that, like the saying goes, defense wins championships.
Oh yes, and what I love about this kid, because I've seen some clips from him already, and not only is he quick and athletic, but I like his size here. 6 feet, 170 pounds. I remember for the longest time, Ben, when it came to us recruiting in the defensive backfield, I mean, we had a lot of athletic guys, but they were so damn short. I'm sorry to all those players, but we would have corners that were like 5'9", 5'10". Like 5'10" was where it capped off.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I remember talking to my dad about this years ago. We both thought the same thing. Why is it that we can't get these guys that are 6 feet and above? Because you with corners, you have to have that height. You have to have the height. And of course with the safeties as well, but we're talking specifically corners right now. But if you're pitting a corner against a guy like a 5'9" corner, let's say you pit him against a guy like Calvin Johnson when he was at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
And Johnson was like what, 6'5"? Yeah. Piss poor matchup on the defense's part right there. You have to have the guys to match.
Yeah. That have a chance.
Yeah, exactly. To have a chance. Make it hard on that receiver to make a play.
Right. Yeah. And what's so awesome about Morrison is we got him, Notre Dame got him over Michigan State, Michigan, Florida State, and Oregon because that was his top 5, and then Notre Dame rounded out his top 5. That's awesome. I mean, that's 3 teams that Notre Dame fans love to hate automatically that we got the guy from. I mean, and then if you look at the numbers, like we did with Jalen, okay, positional wise, he's the 32nd best cornerback in the country. He's the 4th best cornerback in his state, and nationally, he's 315th as an athlete. I mean, you can't go wrong with this. Like, this is what we need. This is what Notre Dame needs to get over that hump, because Notre Dame is right on that threshold, and we've said it over and over and over again in these videos. Notre Dame is right there. They're just one step below Alabama and Clemson and Ohio State on a good year. So if they can just get those guys like Snead, like Morrison, then that'll put them over the top. Now, this has to transfer over to the offense too, and I think offense has been Notre Dame's Achilles heel for the longest time. The defense has shown that they are phenomenal. Last couple seasons, we've seen phenomenal defenses at Notre Dame. But these guys bring in other guys, and, that's something that I love. You get these guys that recruit. We saw Blake Fisher and Rocco Spindler basically recruiting constantly on Twitter, constantly. These guys want to play with each other. I mean, in the age of social media, these guys don't get to be like, who the hell's that guy? I've never even heard of him. These guys get to see these guys on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, making spectacular plays, winning championships and all that. And then they go, okay, that's the guy I want to play with. That guy is amazing. I like him.
And they can personally bond with one another.
Right.
Now, of course, back in the old days, long before social media, you had some guys that could do that, but it was only because they lived close to one another.
Right, regionally.
Other than that, regionally. Other than that, you couldn't do that. Mean, unless you actually had to use the rotary phone back then, but you didn't. They didn't know one another. Yeah. They couldn't see each other that easily. So the age of social media definitely has changed a lot of things as far as recruiting goes, and and stuff like that. When they're actually able to talk to one another before deciding on schools or before coming to play together, that builds chemistry right there, and that transitions over to when they go to said school together.
Yeah.
So, and I guess particularly on offense, to get over that hump. I mean, you've said it, I've said it, and even people who are fans of other teams have said it that we agree with. I mean, quarterback, I think, is a big factor on offense too. But of course, we'll see with Tyler Buckner and see. Hopefully, he progresses along well enough to be that quarterback recruit that does put us over the top. But of course, right now, we're just focusing on Jack Cohn and Drew Pine, and we don't want to look too far into the future. We want to try to live in the minute. That's how I'm approaching this.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's awesome. I mean, we can't complain right now, not at all. Talent is coming. Talent is coming in, and now it's pedal to the metal.
And even this upcoming year, I don't think it's going to be bad. I think we have just as much a chance to compete for the playoffs this year as we did last year, and so on. Even with losing the guys that we did, I still think we can compete and get back to the postseason, back to the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, and a huge point that I wanted to make with the recruiting aspect. Okay, these two recruits brings Notre Dame's total up to 19 for this class. 11 of the 19 are 4-star recruits. So that means only 8 recruits are less than 4 stars.
Yeah, and even those 3-star recruits, they can be impactful players.
Oh yeah, we've seen that, and we say that a lot too. I mean, we say it's not stars do not mean success or failure. Stars mean show where they quote unquote are at the time of stepping onto the college field.
Yeah, I mean 5 stars, you're going to probably see them on the field right away when they get there.
Right.
I've said that numerous times.
Right.
So all I know is things are looking very, very good for the Irish on the recruiting trail. Marcus Freeman is making an instant impact, and he hasn't even coached a game yet here from the box. So we'll see. All I know is it's looking very, very good. Now, this last topic, this last segment of this episode, it's not one that we're going to do every single show, but I think it's a good time to introduce it now. So Ben and I right now present the two Irish brothers dumbass of the week.
Let me tell you something, folks. You can't fix stupid.
All right, Ben, and drum roll, please. The first ever two Irish brothers dumbass of the week goes to us, and I did a lot of cross referencing. I'm pretty sure this is the guy. Could be another guy, I don't know. But our first dumbass of the week goes to Mr. Dirk Kentrin of Woodward, Oklahoma. This guy right here. And first off, I gotta say something. This guy looks like a cross between Mr. Clean and Uncle Fester from the Addams Family. What do you think, Ben?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell.
But all I know is all I know is in the background, the judge. I would assume that's a judge. Looks like a courthouse. I can't really see the judge, but he sure does have the Wilford Brimley mustache going on there. Diabetes.
Yeah. Oklahoma's a special place, man. Oklahoma is.
There's a lot of good people out there. It's just this guy just is a piece of work. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, who is this guy and why is he the dumbass of your week for your guys' show? Well, first off, Ben, I know it's usually you having to tell me this. You're the laid back of the two of us. I'm the one who likes to get aggressive and talk back, fight back, that kind of thing. Let me explain the situation. I'll try to keep this quick. So this Dirk Kentrin, the number one reason he's a dumbass is he decides to attack us on a video using his real name. And I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, but if you're going to be that stupid to attack somebody on YouTube using your real name, then I think you deserve whatever you get. Now, what happened is this Dirk guy, he decides to come on to Ben and I's video that we did making our predictions about what the top 25 is going to look like to start the season. And I'm not going to go through the whole conversation here, but he comes on to the comment section there. And this is the first comment that he leaves us at the very top here. Oklahoma at 4. You guys are idiots. Okay. Now look, Ben, you and I both know that YouTube is a crazy place. People can always come on here to be tough and, type whatever they want on a keyboard. And in this guy's case, he's from Oklahoma. He knows that we can't do anything to him because, from Illinois to Oklahoma, it's just about an 800-mile drive. So everybody can be brave with a keyboard. But I got to tell you something. It's not that you and I don't have thick skin, but I just don't get that. Why, if you disagree with us on something, why not just talk to us about it? I've never been able to understand that.
Yeah, there's a difference between just legit hate and criticism and constructive criticism. Is one thing to say, well, you guys are idiots for putting Oklahoma at number 4, or it would be like, well, why is Oklahoma at number 4? Because they've done this, 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 and this. Thus, that should make them higher. So, but yeah, it's one of those things where, okay, you're coming into a show that is fixed on a specific team. It is not like we are guys talking about college football as a whole. We are talking about one team in particular. Now, we do branch off and say, here's our top 25, or here's our, thoughts on this bowl game or that bowl game.
Notre Dame's our team, but we discuss everything.
Right. So it's like, and we have no voting power. I mean, it's not like I get to vote in the actual college football poll and have an influence on these rankings. I don't, so what's the issue? That's the way I look at that. Now,
I think this moron.
Go ahead,
dude. I'm sorry. I was going to say, I think this moron's issue is he thinks that we had Oklahoma way too high, but whatever. I sent this guy a bunch of sources too, a bunch, like 4 or 5 different sources, And we're both in the ballpark of where we had Oklahoma in our projections. I had them at 4, you had them in like 5 or 6. But a lot of the sources that I saw, 4, 4, 3, 3. One source had him at number 2 to start the season.
Yeah.
But this guy's calling us idiots. And plus, he also said in one of his comments, you guys can go see the comments back and forth for yourself, but he said that he would call us idiots straight to our face if we were in person. No, he would not. Ben, would you walk into a bar and just straight up call somebody an idiot?
No.
No, no. And this guy's, and I'll put up this one. This is funny what he said next. So after he was shooting his mouth off, I say to Mr. Kentron, by the way, how's the weather in Woodward? Just showing him like, hey, I looked you up, bud. If you're going to be stupid and attack us with our real name, you deserve what you get. And he says to me, and this is where you could tell I pissed him off a little bit here. He says, make the trip and find out for yourself. If you're trying to scare me with your Google skills, it's not working. I don't hide behind it. Or I don't hide behind a screen name. If you're that interested in where I'm from, all you need to do is ask. My business is computers and IT. I don't think that you want to go down the doxing route. Well, first off, I never planned to dox this guy. Never planned it one bit.
Yeah.
But I like this. You could tell he got pissed at that one. He got riled there.
So my issue with all this is, okay, does he like Oklahoma or is he against Oklahoma? Because
it's clear that he's against him.
Oh, okay. So he must be like an Oklahoma State fan or something.
Well, I saw some. I'm not going to go into detail because, like I said, I don't want to bring anybody else into this that doesn't deserve to be. But it looks like that he has some Oklahoma State ties in his group. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Without giving too much away.
I mean, the state of Oklahoma, they got 3 universities, really. I mean, you have Tulsa, we have Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, and then the big 2 is Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. And they have a huge rivalry that everybody knows about. I mean, it's called Bedlam for a reason, so whatever. But yeah,
but all I know is
I don't get it. I really don't get it. I try, unlike, some people, what?
I can't wrap my head around it either. Why would you just come on to a show like ours and just hurl insults at us? And of course, there was another comment that I don't have here, but he said that, I just watched little guys like your show. I don't, because I asked this guy, why doesn't he attack the big sources that I gave him? And I'll tell you exactly why, because he knows he can't bully them. If he leaves a comment on, say, for example, Sports Illustrated's page, they're not going to give him the time of day. But with us being a small show like we are, he knows that we're going to see it. Now, whether we respond to it is up to, well, in this case, me, because you didn't know about it till a day ago or just today.
Yeah.
So yes, full disclosure, it was me responding to this guy. But it's like, yeah, that just, of course, he knows that he can't bully the big time shows and publications, but us, he feels that he can. But I just don't get it. Because it's YouTube and because you're almost 800 miles away, you can't just civilly disagree with us? And why start with the insults? Tell us why you don't think Oklahoma should be number 4. I mean, I swear this, I think this was on either Tuesday or Wednesday when he first started commenting. And I think he just had something up his ass that day. Something had to have been bothering him.
It happens. I mean, because we've all been there, you take out your frustration on, the most random of places, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could go on. This is a Notre Dame show. I'm not going to focus on Oklahoma and Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Not until we play them. And it's going to be, unless they play them in the playoffs, that's not going to happen this season. So, but yeah, let's finish the show real quick with one last thing.
Well, I got to give Mr. Kentron a round of applause. You are our dumbass of the week. You should not be proud of that. And I'll say one thing, Ben. You and I may be a small show. We may only have 214 subscribers, but those 214 subs are a very loyal following.
Yeah.
And to everybody watching, as I've said numerous times, and I think, Ben, you agree, we are proud to put the show on for you guys. And
Yes,
as
we
long as you guys love it, we'll keep going.
Yes,
If we
we
get
are.
big, we get big. If we don't, we don't. Doesn't matter. But you go ahead with the last thing you wanted to add.
So the last thing, very quick, and we try not to talk, politics on this show, but sometimes it bleeds just a little bit. Los Angeles County has officially announced a mask mandate. They are re-bringing their mask mandate back. That impacts some stuff, especially on the Notre Dame front. Southern Cal is on the schedule, so is Stanford, and 2 teams in the Pac-12 reside in Los Angeles County. So it's going to affect college football potentially, and college sports in general. So we will see what happens. This is developing. It just happened last night. It was just announced. So we shall see. Hopefully and thankfully, Southern Cal is playing in Indiana, in South Bend, Indiana, at Notre Dame Stadium. But yeah, that's what's going on. That's very interesting. We shall see.
I just hope that nothing comes up where, they decide on not playing certain games, and that would suck. Not playing Stanford and USC 2 years in a row.
Yep.
I mean, those are both rivalries that you need to have for college football, but not just for college football. Obviously, us as a program as well.
Right. But I don't got anything else, Sean.
Nope, I don't either. All I know is I hope that dirt guy from Woodward, Oklahoma, sees this just for this last, 7-8 minutes alone. But no, I don't have anything else. We are already approaching 50 minutes, so I think this is a good time to end things. So I think we had a pretty good discussion here in the show. All you guys watching, if you made it this far, if you've decided to watch us to the very end here, let us hear your thoughts. We are more than happy to hear them and welcome your opinions. Just be civil, people. Is it really that hard to be civil? That's all that we ask. But yeah, on that note, Ben, again, congratulations from me. It's awesome that you're a dad. I cannot wait to meet the little kiddo, and I just hope she's doing well. And I know you said your wife is doing well too, and you guys are making the adjustment to being parents. And just God bless you guys, and
Thank you.
Congratulations on this little life that you guys brought into the world.
Thank you.
And I saw you're getting her on the right path. Watching the Notre Dame video together, and you got her a onesie, and well, she's got to grow into it though. But
yeah,
you got her on the right path, my friend. Yeah. Okay, guys. Unfortunately, Ben's computer died on him at the last minute here, so I'll go ahead and take us home. For Irish Benjamin, this is ND Sean 45. As always, God bless. Good night, and go Irish, baby.